Bonjour, brand connoisseurs. Welcome to the Art of Branding podcast on the TEAM SCG podcast network. So, Savannah, rate your day with minimal context. Again, I'm going to hit it with a 1 because my co-host, Shayna Cohen, is not here with me today. But instead of having an elephant in the room, we're just going to have a marketing girly in the room with us. My right hand, the girl that keeps my life together, that, is also the face and behind the scenes of all of our social podcasting and marketing efforts. We have Ms. Kim Dibitetto with us. So, Kim, rate your day with minimal context, or give us context. We don't have to follow a format today.
I'd have to say a 3.
A 3?
Yeah.
Would it be because I'm making you get on the mic with me?
There's a slight just a little bit. No. It's great to be here on this side of the things for once. Just the fact that Shayna isn't here.
I know.
Yeah.
It's exactly same. We're trying to keep our spirits up without our fearless leader here. But we understand she has, places to be and things to do. We totally get it. But Kim is normally, she is you wear a lot of hats, Kim.
A lot.
Audio engineer, executive producer, showrunner. What else am I missing?
Content creator.
Content creator.
God, taking it back from day one, it's been even more hats. But
well, let's take it back from day one. I think that would be really interesting to see how you came to the SCG world and how you. Yes, you have worn a million different hats.
It's been a while.
So, even before we get into your SCG journey, tell us about where you started, and then how you came to SCG.
Okay, so I am friend represented. I am one of the few founding friends that has been brought on to the team.
Yes. So as we mentioned, there's a lot of family here.
Yes.
Kim was actually brought in as a friend of family.
Yes.
So you knew the Greenbergers
prior to even working here, prior knowing that there was even a family company involved. And actually it was off of a whim. I was still in college and applying for summer internships. It was my senior year. And I didn't end up getting the internship I wanted at my mom's company, which is actually one of our clients, JM Family. And Taylor was like, hey, so I know you didn't get this internship, but do you want to come work for us? Because I know you're not doing anything. I'm like, thank you so much for reminding me. Yeah, sure. Why not?
That's hysterical. And it's funny. So at that time is kind of when we first started kicking off our hyper growth period.
Yeah.
This is 2 offices ago.
2. Yeah.
Not 1, but 2. You were with us in the small office where we were literally running
very tight. We were practically sitting on top of each other at this point.
Exactly. Yeah. And we were doing fulfillment on a project.
It was one of your biggest projects, actually.
Exactly. It was to date, this is the biggest project. This was also back when I was in sales, but the biggest project that I've ever sold, one of the biggest POs that our company's ever put into place.
Yeah.
And what we needed was labor.
Exactly. Yeah, no. Taylor was like, it's really all hands on deck. We're trying to find and scavenge for people at this point. So I was like, sure, you already know I'm not doing anything. And 2 days in, Shayna and Tammy came to me and they were like, so what's your deal? What are you doing? What's Kim's goal for the next, I don't know, a few years?
Well, it's funny because I vividly remember you coming into the picture and we were all like, oh, she's so which I don't know if this is the politically correct thing to say, but oh, she's so adorable. She's, she's a girly twirly, and for no other better, word to come to mind, or a phrase to come to mind, you were a girly twirly and we knew it. So it was very intriguing of okay, she's here, but what does she want to do and want to be doing?
Yeah.
So what was your first impression of the business once you got into it and you're literally thrown into the the winds of chaos that is fulfillment and warehousing and all that stuff?
So from the first glance, because my mom's been at her company for years, and they always do these events, and they always give out these items and these promotional products and all this type of stuff. And I've always even gotten excited about it myself. And I realized, because when Taylor brought me in, I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll help. I didn't ask what, when, for how long. I was just like, yeah, sure, why not?
She brought a can-do attitude to the table.
Yes. And once I realized what promotional products were, because she said it a few times, I'm like, yeah, I know what that is.
Well, it's just so broad, you know?
Yeah. And I was like, wait, so it's merch? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, for like anything and anyone? And she's like, yeah, pretty much. I'm like, okay, so you're basically buying cool things with other people's money and making it into this big, beautiful presentation and just sending it out by the masses to all these people for them to just receive at home. Because it was like the first at home kit.
And you're like, oh, wait, you're like Santa Claus.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much. I'm like,
that's
UPS meets Santa Claus.
Exactly.
And I'm like, wow, wait, this is actually kind of cool. And just seeing behind the scenes of how the ideas get conceptualized and come together and get kitted together from the start to finish project of conceptualizing what the client wants. And it's like, yeah, we're thinking of this, this, and this. And then seeing how that gets transformed into the final product. I was like, this is pretty cool.
And here's the thing. And I feel as though when people are like, oh yeah, like promotional products, it's kind of like ick. But when you're like, no, it's merch. Like, whoa!
As soon as you, the dreaded word, the word I hate the most, swag.
Girl.
I can't do it.
And I know we're going to catch some heat for this one.
I am.
But I mean,
it's fine. But it just rubs me the wrong way.
It rubs me the wrong way too.
I hate using it.
No,
but
same.
Like we have to.
Exactly. Merch just seems so refined. So like,
because everyone loves merch.
Well, exactly. So comprehensive of like the amount of like time, thought, and energy we put into the products that we produce. Whereas like swag just sounds like swag. I don't know, whatever.
It's giving Justin Bieber.
Exactly. Which we do have some believers amongst us. But I mean, yeah, exactly.
But it's giving 2016 like.
Exactly. The merch is elevated, merch is refined, merch is like the evolution of promotional products of swag. It's like, it's very telling of like where you're at right now. Okay, so you get in and you're like, wait, this is actually cool.
Yeah. And they were like, hey, so we know you're still in school. And at this time, I mean, I changed my major a few times, but I was set to graduate as a marketing major. And they're like, so like, what's your deal? Like, where do you see yourself? Like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I'm a marketing major, so I'd love to do something in that. But I mean, I've always been gravitated to learning as much as possible in as many different avenues as possible. So they're like, okay, well, the family loves you. Everyone here already, is a huge fan. What if we just like work around your school schedule? You can branch out and learn as much as possible. And then once you graduate, we could hire you on full time and you could be our marketing girly.
And you were
and that's how it went.
And you're like, heck yeah, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much jumped from every possible position besides CSR. That was when I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't want to do that one, but like, I'll try anything else.
That's hysterical. I mean,
which is funny because that's what Taylor does.
Well, and it's funny because like we love our CSRs, but it is a very, very difficult job and chair to sit in.
Very extensive, very nitty gritty. You need to catch all of the mistakes. Otherwise,
So you go through, I mean, all the different, because again, speaking to the hyper growth period of the time, and it wasn't just like a one and done thing of, okay, like we got to this next level and here we are, and it's all easy breezy coasting from here. We'll call it 3 years at the time. Like, there was, and it continues to be this, but like so many different evolutions and iterations and processes that we had to like redo. And we didn't really have real processes, but like what, one could consider objectively to be processes. Like, we had to rewrite the script a million times. And Kim was somebody who always saw so many different pieces of the business and understood different pieces of the business and
the holes.
Exactly. And the holes, like you were able to go in there and fill them in a way that they all trusted you to do so. And like, you were just so like flexible and moldable, which is a superpower all on its own, because if you're over here, if the people that are able to adapt to the needs of the business are the people that are going to stay and grow with the business, especially when the business is constantly changing. So
I agree. Yeah.
I can imagine, like, honestly, like that could be frustrating, but also like flustering, as
Yes, there were times where it was a lot when I was doing this function that has nothing to do with this other function, but this needs to be done by a certain point of the day. And then also I need to be creative and do the social media and make sure that this order went out correct. So it's a lot of juggling, a lot of different concepts, and also still trying to learn other new tasks as well.
Exactly.
So it's trying to juggle all of
because
the responsibilities.
You would almost have two job functions at once. Like, you would kind of have two positions at once and kind of have to like shift gears throughout your day of like, okay, like, here I am being social media girly, but here I am doing sales, or here I am doing order processing, or like, what were all the different positions? Like, speak to it. Take it from the top.
From the top. Okay. So I first started working underneath Brian.
Okay.
So I was on his
sales team.
Then they moved me over to programs.
Okay. So you went from essentially inside sales with Brian to programs, which is kind of like our web stores that we run with our clients.
Yep. Then I was on Team Cruise for a little bit.
Okay. So this is now shifting back gears into like the sales of it all. But like, going from the inside sales with Brian versus the sales with the cruise team,
two different worlds.
Two different worlds entirely. Two different teams, two different management styles.
Different needs, different
everything. As different as you could imagine it to be.
Yeah.
It was that. Okay. Yeah. So then we at this point, like, reorg shuffled. You were thrown social media, you were thrown all these things in between. At what point did you realize, like, because there was a kind of a distinct conversation I kind of vaguely remember, in the sense of, you pivoted a little bit away from marketing into the sales of it all. But then kind of once you were into the sales of it all, you're like, this isn't for me.
So,
like, how do you articulate how we found each other once more?
How we found each other. Okay. Yeah. So I got moved onto travel team last December, and they wanted a designated marketing person for their clients.
And at that time, we kind of started working together without like true definition of our department. Like, technically I was doing business development, but with my hand in marketing. And then you were also
doing sales with a hand in marketing.
And Shayna was CEO and marketing. So as you can imagine, that was very chaotic.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a lot of things in place to like set us up for success. So then it kind of like, you take it from here.
So working sales / marketing, because they do overlap a bit.
Of course.
In order to,
they're hand in hand.
Exactly. Absolutely loved working on travel team with Rachel, Taylor, the girls, everyone. Working underneath Justin, it was definitely opened up my eyes, because prior to that, I was mostly just like the house accounts, and it was SCG focused as a whole. Getting to actually zone in on specific clients and projects and opportunities and proposals, stuff like that, I was able to fine tune and really hone in on the clients' personalities. Because now that I actually know them on a personal level, and getting the extra bits and pieces of already being included in those sales meetings and getting to know the real fine details of the project and the theme, and getting all this nitty gritty detail, I was able to then, I think, take my presentations and proposals and campaigns to the next level.
Which you are known as the Canva Queen.
Yes.
At SCG, and this is how you got that title.
Yeah, and it was all through self-development. I took maybe a few, besides for the marketing courses.
I mean, sister, that still counts as don't sell yourself short here. That still counts as self-development, because it takes your time to do the research to understand how to do those things. Even if you take a course, anybody can take a course, but to actually extract value from a course and actually take the time to then figure out how to apply what you learned into your own practice, that's all you.
Thank you. I wouldn't say I'm a professional, but
you're the Canva Queen.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Period.
So really getting to zone in on even some of the business development opportunities that we were able to collaborate on together prior to the full move over.
The
shift. I then, got to dabble a bit more in the marketing side again. And Shayna came and sat me down. She's like, I want to make sure that you're happy and you're doing what you want to do. And not just from an SCG perspective, but on this personal friendship level. She wanted to make sure that my mental, my physical, my work-life balance, everything was the way that I saw my life going. And she knew from the beginning I was the marketing girly. And that was when the shift happened.
Well,
because there was a lot of shifts.
Exactly. Because, we stay shift. One thing about us is we stay shifted over here.
We're constantly changing and moving here.
Well, exactly. So that was about the time that then I was at the beginning of this year, I was doing, again, business development and marketing, which we come to find out, they're just two separate departments, even though they're very, they operate very closely. They're two full workloads all in their own. And I've always enjoyed marketing myself. And I realized I sell through marketing, and I develop business through marketing tactics, rather than traditional sales tactics and whatnot. And that's how, I realized, okay, I want to get into marketing. I want to shift entirely to this marketing role. However, we're going to need somebody. It can't just be a one-man band around these parts, So no, we get to this place where we're okay, so what is this going to look like? And you were the obvious choice. It's funny because real talk here, after Kim and I worked together in our previous, everybody has a hand in marketing and nothing was legitimized or whatever. We were both, we'll call a spade here. We were both hesitant about this of what is this going to, how are we going to,
it was uncharted territory. We've worked alongside each other kind of in passing, but never this close.
Well, exactly. So, and we're both very particular.
Yeah.
We're two particular beings. And so it was kind of a moment beforehand of wow, now we're going to be working together. And little did we know we were exactly what we needed for each other.
Yeah, I'd say that we've probably surpassed the expectations for how well this was going to go.
Exactly. We both walked in with hesitations, reservations, but quickly determined, wait, hold on. We're stronger together. And we've been able to, after we established this level of trust, I think and also just kind of had this realization of we both have the same goal in mind, and that is the beautification
of SCG.
The facelift, the beautification, the cool factor of SCG. I mean, that's when it's like, oh, duh. And then on top of that, like just spending more and more time together, it's like, oh, wait, no, I love spending time with you. Like we go through and since we've both been here for so long at this point, like, and you have a close relationship with the family, I have a close relationship with the family. Like we have a very unique and full understanding of what goes on here in ways that like maybe some newer members can't necessarily relate to right off the bat. And that's always been something
that's like just time. I mean,
exactly.
We've both been here for a while.
Exactly. Who'd have thunk it? But like, it's like being able to like have that like level of like relatability with somebody. It's really special. And on top of that, like your capability, your creativity, you've always had it, but like now we get to do that together and have that mutual understanding and that mutual experience together in this, you know, beautification process of SCG. So I think from here, what we're trying to accomplish is obviously beautification, duh. But you know, kind of what we've been up to, and even with all this like podcasting and social media and like revamping our brand and our website, like we recognize that we're doing a lot of things at once, but we're also just trying to get content out there and get started in our processes rather than wait to like have a perfectly defined process.
It's never going to be perfect.
Exactly.
It never will be. No matter, things are constantly changing, trends are constantly coming out and dying, and it's the urgency / relevancy of everything that we do. Because I mean, as the marketing team for a marketing company,
it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of ideas.
We're practicing what we preach.
Exactly.
And if we can't present ourselves well, how do we expect people to trust us with their brand?
Well, exactly. And like we're marketing to marketers, and we're you know, we're dealing with a whole team of marketers. So we're constantly getting ideas, and we love getting ideas from our team, and you know, we love all the feedback. More and more people are getting in on it.
Love the input. And I mean, honestly, it is only two of us. So the more the merrier.
Exactly. The more the merrier. But like, I think especially as we build this out, the more we'll proceed to refine the processes. And like, we're in the game of repetition here. Like, you know, there's so much more that we're going to proceed to zhuzh, and so much more that we're going to proceed to do here. But it just takes the time, and like we're committed to the long game. We're committed to the consistency. We're committed to the discipline of making this work. And I mean, like for real, I mean this when I say this with my whole heart, like being able to have you do this with me, it's created just an additional layer of like, okay, I'm doing this with Kim. Like I'm doing this, and it's going to be done, and it's going to be done well, because I mean, based on our culture index, we both have hooked back D's.
Yes. Very, very high D's.
Exactly. We have attention to detail, we have execution, and we are meticulous. So like, even though we're both innately though we are like innately perfectionists, and we want these things to be perfect and done right day one, like
home run out of the park,
exactly,
everything, but it's impossible.
And we're out of our comfort zone a lot of the time, where we want to, like, where you're fighting with, do I make this perfect or do I get it done?
Yeah.
And
because at the end of the day, I mean, no one's perfect, and authenticity is what's most important.
Exactly.
So listen, people don't want to see the picture perfect. They want to see what's real.
Exactly.
But I mean, getting to show all the personalities that we have here, and it's kind of, I've taken it on as my role to broadcast to the world how awesome everyone is here. Because truly, I'd say a majority of the reason why I am still here is because of how amazing it is to work here.
I mean, that is
Like, you guys have made it hard to even conceptualize not working here.
Exactly. And I feel that too, in the
Yeah.
sense of like, once you get here, and hey, we're not perfect, and we can get a little crazy from time to time, but like,
It does get a little crazy.
you can't imagine
not
being here, and you
Yeah.
can't imagine, like, I know you have a lot of like your amazing friends here, which we'll have to, we'll have to have the girly twirlies on the podcast soon.
Yeah.
But like, you start to really enjoy being here, and of course we get stuff done. It's not just fun and games.
It's not all just like,
it's not all just
girly twirly activities. It does get to the point where it's like,
exactly, we gotta hunker down and do some whiteboard sessions.
Yeah.
Which we love. But I think that it's something that like we're here to tell the story of that more and more. We're here to bring people that you wouldn't necessarily even know about to the camera, and like being able to speak to their story and whatnot. And I mean, hey Kim, you had the camera flipped onto you today, and you were an absolute trooper.
Thank you.
But anywho, thank you so much for coming on again. We'll have to have you on again, and you will be on again. I mean, you're always here. So I'm talking as though like you're
literally always here.
You're not. You're not right behind the camera every time. Okay, well, thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow along, comment your favorite part of the episode below, and we will see you next Monday. Au revoir, brand connoisseurs.
Bye.